Okay. Okay. Live. Okay. Going live. You're live. Hey.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. Wow. What is going on up in there? Technical difficulties right up there? Who knows?
Technical difficulties, so we are here and back and doing things.
Yep,
That
and
geeks
we're losing
do.
viewers. Whatever. You watch this on your own time. Thank you much if you
Support
join us.
is welcome. Yeah, you don't want to hear my voice. Well, y'all want to hear my voice because it's a gravy.
See, now we're getting the Stream Element stream bot, so I guess there was a glitch or something the first time around. Anyways, back at the ranch.
Back at the ranch, and you were talking about how the weather is crazy.
Oh yeah, well I mean today wasn't too bad. Tomorrow should be good. And
yeah, it's supposed to be going back up. So, you know, hopefully it does that because I like running in the park. But you're disc golf.
yeah, I was doing the front nine on disc golf, and it's like, okay, cool. Now it's I just lost my train of thought. Bye. And it wasn't even the Mugen train. Anyways, so yeah, getting ready for a project this weekend. I think I'm gonna rebuild my trailer this weekend.
All right.
It needs to be rebuilt. Last weekend I tore the old stuff off. I just got to go pick up the new material, and then I can put together, rebuild it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, at this time I had one idea, but then I went and visited with my dad a little bit on Saturday.
Okay.
And we were talking about it and changed up the material list to save a few pounds
Okay.
of weight, because obviously with trailers, weight is a thing. And it's very easy to overload a trailer.
Yeah, that happens from time to time.
Which is fun because my dad's been spending the last few weeks cleaning his garage. Which, I mean, this is his garage is one of those things. It's like you couldn't walk from one end to the other. There was so much stuff in there. And it was that point, it's like he had stuff and he knew he had it, but he couldn't find it. So he bought new stuff. And now he's got this piles and piles of stuff. So went over there, chatted with him about that, saw the progress he was making. He gave me some old vintage tools for my collection, which is good. And now, you know, moving on. I'm just going to throw this up on the Facebooky placey thing.
Well, yeah, you know, the weekend was good until the weather dropped, but only thing I got in was schoolwork, papers, but I cleaned my car. I made sure to clean my car, even though it's going to be pollinated after I clean it, but it is springtime, so you expect that to happen. But other than that, nothing really too big this weekend. Other than, you know, movies watching, weather being crazy. That's about it.
I mean, yeah, work is slowing down a little bit.
Yep.
We're
Well,
getting
that's
the last
good.
part of the season. Oh, and look, we have our cameo cat presents. Now
There is a cat.
I'm just now seeing this.
I just noticed that. Yeah, there's a cat right there.
Yeah. My cat Cleo is going to hang out with us today.
I like that.
You know, we're animal friendly.
We love the animals. We do.
You know, years and years I keep talking about wanting to have a dog. I had a dog and all that, and actually most of the time I have cats.
There's a May sighting.
A Mayflower. Hey, Mayflower. Hey, Mayflower, have your brother text me. I've got comics for him. The broker has got the one half of the agreement. I just need to get with him for the other half of the agreement.
Hey, I like the subtlety in your negotiations.
Well, you know, I have two friends. One is an avid comic book person.
Is it who I'm thinking of?
One. He is a new comic book person. And so it was like, let's do this kind of, there was like the old one's like, hey, can you reach out to the new one for this comic that he's got? And I would like, and I want to trade him this stack for that one. And it was like, sure. And since they don't have numbers to chit chat, it's like, all right, I'll act as the broker. I'm good.
Yeah, that is, well, you're a good broker. It's like, I got something for you. Do you got something for me?
Well, he came over, he brought him. So I got him. I actually got him right here. At the bag.
There's the bag, people, right there.
Yeah, and there's Kind of a healthy stack of comics here.
There you go. That works.
And he
Come
brought
over,
me
May.
something
Get the
else.
comics.
He brought me something else too.
What's in that bag?
He was going through his stuff and was like, "Hey, I've got these Spawn trade backs from the first time they were published, and they need a new home." And I'm like, "I've not read Spawn."
Oh, it'd be a good read. You know,
It'll be a long read. That's for me.
yeah. Well, talking about long reads.
Interesting bit of comic trivia. This is actually issues 1 through 95, the exception of issues 10 and 11.
Really? Okay.
Apparently.
Why is there no 10 or 11?
Well, Image Comics, which is the comic company that Todd McFarlane started when he left Marvel, him and several others all started this company,
Okay.
Image Comics. Each of them had their own, were writing and doing their own books. We get Wildcats, we got Savage Dragon, we got several others, right?
Yeah.
So one of those writers wrote issues 10 and 11 for Spawn.
Okay.
They had a falling out. So there's a lot more details to this, but the core bit is that in the end, McFarlane does not have the rights to republish issues 10 and 11.
That sounds like what happens in the Falling Out. You can't have the rights.
Which is weird because there are two characters that were introduced in 10 and 11. Now, one of them McFarlane owns, the other one the other person owns. And part of that agreement is that character cannot be used in any new material.
Okay.
But as he reappears throughout from the time issues 10, 11 till that set issue number where his story where he can't be reused, it was like, this is the thing. So it's like, cool. So I guess if I want to read issues 10 and 11, I've got to find somebody who's got those issues or pay a stupid amount of money to purchase a copy of those. Obviously, I'm gonna go with the former and not the latter.
There you go.
Just saying.
Hey, it works. But
Doesn't always have to be the messenger. I just don't think I have her brother saved right in my phone, and figured it's easier to ask her.
Hey, if you don't have it, go to the next good source.
Yeah.
Mayflower.
I mean, it's good. It's all good in the hood. But it was an interesting little bit of comic trivia, and I like talking with my comic nerd friends because I don't know comics that well.
I am a nerd of many things, comics to an extent, but not everything.
Now, I will say I'm slowly inching toward the dark side. The last time I was at the comic
The
shop,
dark side.
last
Okay.
time I was at the comic shop hanging out, I actually did buy stuff.
Okay.
Granted, I bought Warhammer stuff at a comic shop.
It's still stuff.
But I also started to map the store in my head. So I could know, because I'm an Aliens fan.
Okay.
H.R. Giger's Alien, some of the comics, some of the crossovers. I'm a really big fan of those books and Dark Horse books. I have a few of them, and there are some that I wanted to get, like
Aliens
the crossovers with Batman,
franchise.
the crossover with Superman, the crossover with Wildcats, a couple other different ones that have happened, and I thought about trying to get those. I actually have found a web version of the Spider-Man or the Superman story with aliens, and I thought that was pretty good. But there's some others I want to check out, and there's also the Predator franchise and some crossovers. There's one I just saw recently on Comixology I could buy, which is Batman and Superman facing off against the Xenomorph and the Predator.
Yeah, man, well, Aliens is a very, a long franchise and popular, so
It is. It's very
that's
popular.
definitely a good thing to check out.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my bit of comic nerdiness. I have a few other books, but I'm not as entrenched in comics as some of my friends, but I'm at least, open to learning more and participating in some of the debate.
Vast array of comics out there and Comic Cons to go to.
Yes, we have Tidewater Comic Con coming up soon.
I'm going to that.
We are going to.
Yep.
Yes. We will go.
My vacation's not till later in the month, so I will be going to that.
by that point I could definitely take a weekend to go to Comic Con.
Yep. It'll be after school. Nothing else to do but have fun.
Yep. Have fun, do those things. Anyways, yep. So yeah, it was interesting little bits in there. But yeah, that was some of what I was up to, and starting to work on house projects and clean things up and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, more fun stuff's to come once the semester's over for me. So.
Yeah, how much longer before the semester's over?
Well, it's the end of April, but our last class is like April 19th. So this is one of 3 last books I gotta read.
He said that one's the smallest book of the stack?
Yeah, it's the smallest book of the stack, but it seems to be even more deep in theory. But it's not some of the other ones where I want to throw across the room because it's more conversational. And having conversation means when you're talking, you're relating to something. So it creates that tangibility effect.
Yeah,
I know I'm redundant, people. I say that every week, but anything I read, it has to be tangible to something I can relate to, or at least something I know.
Well, that's just an element of learning. If
Yeah.
if you find a way for whatever it is you're trying to learn to register and associate in some kind of association, then you're going to retain it better.
So that's part of my writing assignments that I'm turning in for each month. Each month you have 3 major assignments. So I turned in the one for March, and I'm calling it the Journey of the Journal. So I'm relating everything that I'm learning about post-colonial theory to my fandom for movies and music. So it's particular things that I'm trying to find. Like I related certain theories to the Super Bowl halftime show with Dr. Dre and Snoop, and how that cultural awareness on the big stage has more meaning than just being a halftime show.
Speaking of which, I was actually in the office today.
Okay.
Did a little bit more cleaning. Today's major
super clean
was to check and see what cables I need to make my desk work right. Because right now my desk is kind of handicapped. And to go through all the books that were left over from previous tenants.
You did say you were going to bring some if they were worthy.
Well, I actually went through, and about half the stack I threw out. Be fair.
Hey, be fair, people. Be fair.
The half I kept are ones that I skimming the forward or looking at the title, and I figured, you know what, I'd be curious. And if I'm going to be in the office and I'm going to have some downtime and I could read, it's something that will be productive to read. That's the theory.
Yeah.
Leadership, marketing, financials, that kind of stuff. But, nonfiction books are kind of hard for me to kind of get my head on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're a slog to read. And
I am on your same path because I've been doing that.
A few historical fictions, but I need to branch out. There was a point in time I was trying to follow the Bill Gates reading list, and I think I've gotten 1 or 2 on my wish list for audio, but that's been one of those things. There are a couple I've tried to read and reread, and I just never.
Oh yeah, it's a nonfiction. It depends. Like I like a good autobiography. I've read a few, which I read the Robin Williams one, Elton John one. I have like 2 or 3 other ones just sitting there waiting for me to read.
I've got the audio version for Steve Jobs, Da Vinci, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold's was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be a good read.
Because he is a man who has done a lot.
Oh yeah, it reveals a lot when you read some of these books. So
yeah, it's very interesting because you see them and then seeing these other things. It was really cool.
Yeah,
but I like how that one you said it's not very thick compared to some of the other ones I've seen you read.
Yeah,
but you're saying it's very intense. That goes to the phrase quality over quantity.
Yeah. As y'all can see, if you can see, this book is pretty thin compared to some of the ones I've brought in over.
Yeah, I mean, that if you're to the point, you don't need a lot of words.
Yeah, that's why. Some of the other stuff I read, I just threw me for a loop because it's so much redundancy over and over and over. It's like I get the point. Move on to the next point.
Oh yeah, it makes you think about it. It's like hey, politicians, take a hint.
Yeah.
Do I really need 5,000 pages when 25 pages will cover it? Oh, wait, legalese.
Yeah. I mean, you can do legal documents and not feel like you're superior to other people.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Anyway, so let's see. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And if you're enjoying this, hit the like. If you're new, hit the subscribe.
Somewhere around me.
Bell notification. Yeah, all those things are there. Shout out to Sirenscape for the background music and soundboards. And we're going to carry on with our next thing, which is we got a couple of reviews,
Save
couple
one.
of things to chat about.
Yep, we got some big things, little things, everything. But, let's start off with that first review.
Yeah, let's go talk about the review.
Scuba and Ry do the movies at different times, but we saw the same movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, we went and saw the same movie. I went Sunday morning because Sunday morning is when, because trying to do Sunday is like a date day with my wife where it's like we do something.
Yep.
We're trying to work our way toward going out for hikes and day trips, but, taking small steps.
Oh, yeah.
Small steps, baby steps.
Yeah.
One of those things is I asked her, hey, do you want to go watch this movie for the morning? And she said yes. So we both went and watched The Lost City, which is a nice new rom-com with the queen of rom-com,
Sandra Bullock
and Channing Tatum. And part of this is where you think about it, it's going to be corny. And if you've heard my review, heard my take on some reviews, corny jokes tend to just not make me cringe.
There is a line.
Yes.
I've been with Scuba plenty of times to the movie, and there is a line where corny, I can tell when corny hits good and when corny hits bad. I know his look. I've seen the look.
And this one, I have to say, it hopscotched that line, but it hopscotched the line in such a way that it was enjoyable for me.
Very much so.
I had a lot of fun watching this film.
Yes.
I had some really good laugh out loud moments.
I did too. And I even pointed one out to you where you said you kind of missed it.
I did.
Yeah, We'll leave it for y'all to figure out if you're going to watch it, but Scuba knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. And so, all right, to set this up, this is, we have an author who's played by Sandra Bullock. Loretta, who writes this really great romance series, but she's starting to get writer's block.
Yeah.
And she had a personal tragedy, and therefore she doesn't go out in the world anymore. She's very afraid of the world as a whole.
Yeah.
And then you have Channing Tatum, who plays a cover model for romance books.
His name is Alan.
The name's Al. Okay, yeah, Alan. And he very much tropey kind of impression at first glance. And the two of them, kind of are at odds with each other because one because of their different circumstances. He's trying to explore more. She's trying to hide, and things aren't going so well. Oh, then we have Daniel Radcliffe come in, who plays a very eccentric and, as much as you want to hate him, actually kind of lovable villain.
He comes from a rich family. His full name is Abigail Fairfax because his name is neutral. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about.
It was funny, but he's convinced that Abigail's book has translations to actual historical lost civilization, and he wants to find this lost city because he believes there's some great treasure that will be there to kind of help him one up his brother who has inherited the family fortune and empire.
Yeah.
And so he kidnaps Abigail. Channing Tatum tries to rescue her, and the two of them go on this wacky trip through the jungle, which, to be fair, reminds me of Romancing the Stone, 6 Days, 7 Nights, so many other rom-com adventure comedies.
Especially Romancing the Stone. That's the one I heard a lot of references
Romancing the Stone, I think it's safe to say, is probably the standard everything's compared against, because there was nothing really before it. And it was such a unique experience.
You got it.
The fact that it also spawned the sequel, Jewel of the Nile.
Yeah.
Which, love or hate, whatever, but it's that.
It's there. It exists.
It's there. And then, and I say 6 Days, 7 Nights because it's Harrison Ford, and I can't remember who the female lead was in that.
Can't remember.
But it was, they were at odds with each other, and they have to survive the jungle, and they get closer afterwards. You have that kind of chemistry. So it's not a new story. This, I think, really boils down to the chemistry of the actors and the cast. And it doesn't feel forced to me. It feels very natural, and it feels like they had a lot of fun on set, because you can kind of tell when you have certain actors play off each other that they're only doing it because they're getting paid to do it, but they're not enjoying it. I mean, you've seen a lot of films, right? Am I wrong in that that observation?
There is films that they you can tell they're there for a paycheck, but with this one, like you said, you have the romance novelist and the cover model, an intellectual and a non-intellectual, so it's a opposite attraction, like a buddy comedy conflict. And when they go on this adventure, it's basically a very what you call a high concept film. And what I mean by that is just that it's a collection of ideas, adventure, lost treasure, unlikely character pairing, and they get thrown into a mix where it's a very formulaic kind of film. But what is different than those movies where people just cash in a check just because they're there, the actors exemplify the tropes and put meaning to the satire. The movie knows what it is. It plays to its strengths of its corny and cheesiness and amplifies the unexpectedness within the formula, which it creates this irony feeling, because when things happen, they either will hit with a very laugh out loud moments or not. And for the most part, it does.
Yeah, this hits pretty well on a lot of fronts. It's really hilarious. We also don't want to take away the supporting cast, because even in the film like this, sometimes your supporting cast is going to be characters that feel very throwaway.
Yeah.
But honestly, the supporting cast for this, I was actually kind of invested in.
Yeah. They were good.
Yeah, well, we have Sandra Abigail's manager, publisher.
Beth Haddon, played by Davine Joy Randolph.
I was a couple of times, I was like, why do we keep going back to her?
Yeah.
But it was a nice kind of, it almost felt like, what was it in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Been a minute since I've seen it.
Well, the guy who owns the museum that Harrison Ford works at, right?
He's the aloof sidekick.
Yeah, the loose sidekick who goes off on this random kind of mini adventure.
Yeah, it's like a secondary subplot, but unlike some films where it detracts, it parallels with the main story's adventure. Like, yeah,
it does, and a lot of fun. And of course, Brad Pitt has a cameo.
He plays Jack Trainer.
Jack Trainer.
Yeah.
I mean, the jokes and the delivery are hilarious, and even Brad Pitt looked like he had a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, he puts this like sophisticatedness within the machoism of the character, which makes every line so imbuing but hilarious. Like, there is a line which is in the trailer, no matter how many times I've seen it or heard it, I laugh out loud, because it's all about delivery and presence, and he puts that presence in there. And that's a testament to Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum's chemistry, because the unlikely pairing becomes natural because of their own ability of lifting above the tropes. And as the adventure continues and you get some of the heartfelt moments that are part of the romance adventure, it adds to that comedic value and makes it even more enjoyable as it moves along.
Yeah, very much so. Overall though, I'm solid with it being a 3 out of 5 personally, because while it's not the most original story, it's probably one of the more enjoyable versions of this story.
Yeah, it's nothing you've not seen before, but that's okay. Sometimes fun can be fun. Comedic one-liners, adventure tropes. If you do it well and you know everybody there's enjoying it, it's a good time. So same out of me, 3 out of 5. It's a good time at the theaters, good date film. If you like rom-com adventure style films, check it out.
We can talk a little bit more about this in the after show, but we also gotta get onto our next couple of meaty topics.
Yeah.
So, let's go. Sure. Back and forth.
Back and forth in the mannery.
Alrighty, so let's stick with the movie thing and let's talk about, this weekend we had the Oscars.
Oscars 2022, people.
And while there were some events that happened during the Oscars,
we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the better things.
Yes. Let's talk about our big win. Let's talk about the big winners.
Yeah.
There was the Best Picture was sent to Coda,
Yep.
which also got Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, which is a
Now-
big thing because it's the first deaf actor to win an award of any kind of any award show.
And now this is a movie that's on Apple Plus.
Yeah, Apple TV, Apple Plus TV.
Okay, so
I went and got a subscription because I wanted to watch it. The one movie I didn't get.
Worth the subscription.
Yes. So just a quick summarized review. I saw the award show, and I tried to watch all the Best Picture movies beforehand. Doesn't always happen, and this was the one that I missed, and it's the one that won. So a lot of times after a movie wins and I watch it, I have a degree of like or like or not. Like The Shape of Water, it won. I watched afterwards. I thought it was an okay movie. Parasite won one year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I go into a pretext of not expecting nuts. I know it won Best Picture, but I go into this movie, and this movie centers around the Rossi family, and it centers around a main character by the name of Ruby Rossi, who is a teenager of a deaf family. Her father, mother, and brother are deaf, and she's the only one in the family that can hear, and that's where CODA comes from. CODA stands for Child of Deaf Adults. So she is basically the interpreter of the family because her family runs a fishing business in New England. And on the foundational level, this movie is a coming-of-age tale. And you watch as Ruby is balancing her high school life with the responsibility of being the sole interpreter of her family. And as the movie moves along, you find out that she actually has a very great singing voice, a musical kind of voice, and her music teacher catches on this, and it opens doors to some new possibilities, new opportunities. She's a senior in high school, so what kind of opportunities it might open. So as that pursuit begins, there's this fracture that starts to happen through the film between her struggles for individual motives and her familial responsibilities with the business. And that's where the movie picks up, and is a very subtle, grounded film, and it stays the course, and within it just being a simple staying the course, that's where it becomes a very uplifting thing, where it shows certain flaws not within just her decisions but within the whole dynamic of her being the sole interpreter with the family. So you start to see this flaws within each individual. And what I appreciate about this movie is that being a coming of age film is that there's growth. You expect growth, but it's always centered in like one character. What this movie does is that by grounding it and solely focusing on the family and watching how Ruby's decision starts to affect, you start to see this ripple effect of each person having to find their own growth. And because of her ability to sing and then her talent, the fracture doesn't come through them disliking it or not liking it. It's the fact that she can't share it with her family because they can't hear. And as the movie comes around, I'm about to cry again. I cried 3 times in this movie.
All right, stay strong.
I'll stay strong, but this movie takes themes that you're familiar with. This goes back to like The Lost City, and the riveting moments. It breaks in through captured moments where the emotions just sneak up on you, and you don't realize that you're reacting in a certain way until like knee deep in this series of moments that happen in the latter half of the film, and it makes you realize the importance of yourself, a reflection of your family, and the possibilities that families can support you even if it's at the detriment of certain things. And
which is good. It's so this one's very grounded,
Very
a lot
grounded.
like last year's big winner, which was
Nomadland,
which again was a slice of life type of film.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So obviously there's no point in saying it's award worthy because it took the big award.
Yeah, this movie, there have been best pictures where I've given 3.5, 4 out of 5, but I've never really done this where I watched a movie and I exactly knew what I wanted to write in my review, because this movie was simply an amazing film. Sometimes it's just the simple tale that makes it the best journey, and when you watch this movie, you're going to be moved to a point to where even the most formulaic comes to a point because it's so relative. It's a 5 out of 5 for me, and it's actually rattling my top 10 list. So I need to go back and see where it falls on my top
All
10
right,
list of all time.
so talking about that, you have a comment in the notes like, what does Coda's big win mean for the future of films?
Yeah.
Are you what do you mean by that?
What I
are your
mean by
thoughts?
that is that it has nothing to do about, me being a 5 out of 5 or probably be my favorite movie of all time. I have to look at my list. But it goes to the fact that Coda was a streaming movie that was going up against The Power of the Dog, which was another streaming movie, exclusive. Both were exclusive streaming movies. So this is the first movie to win that it was solely a streaming movie. So, what it means for the future of films is that you don't need to be in the theater. And also it opens up the possibilities to all these filmmakers that think that the only way they're going to get a reach through the theater to get, noticed is been broken because of the big wins by Coda and some of the other streaming movies.
Well, I mean that, and we have to think the fact that the Academy changed their requirements.
Yeah, they
Think
changed
about
the
this.
requirements.
If they changed their requirements to where it didn't allow the streaming films, we probably would see a much different spread
Yeah.
for Best Picture
But
and some of the other awards because, like you said,
Yeah.
Power of the Dog. That
Yeah.
was a really
that was
great movie.
it was a Netflix original who it was my front runner to win. But apples to oranges, it's fine by me. But the thing is that because it was a streaming movie that won, what it does, it opens up the door, the caucus of investments from these streaming platforms to invest in not just cheesy films, they throwaway films. Like, they are showcasing that streaming platforms can have quality.
Yes.
That's the thing, and you've been seeing it through the years with Roma and The Irishman and Manchester by the Sea, just to name a few films that have been, slowly recognized. But now that one actually won and won 3 major awards, it's going to say it breaks
Apple hasn't really, been that bad in their films. I mean, there's the Tom Hanks one not too long ago.
I know which
really
one you're
good.
talking about.
Finch.
Finch. You have they invested in another popular film, The Tragedy of Macbeth, which was really good and got some award recognition.
It put Denzel Washington in runner for Best Actor again.
It's showing that you don't need a traditional studio to be great, and it's going to draw in these other, directors and actors because, David Lynch and Martin Scorsese have big deals with Netflix. Spielberg has a deal with Netflix now, and then you have some other directors and actors moving and making deals on these streaming platforms. So you're seeing the quality moving forward, and the wins justifies the fact of this investment.
Well, that, and you also want to look at, okay, who controls the theaters?
Yeah.
I mean, love it or hate it, Disney owns 51% of the share when it comes to the movies hitting the theaters.
Yep.
So if you don't want to work, and they've got a schedule that is just a mile long. So this is some of those things. It's like, okay, if you want traction, it may be better to go through the streaming services as they're putting more emphasis on their content.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Turning Red, which was a Pixar film, which was streaming, and that was a pretty decent Pixar film.
Yeah, there was a little conflict in why that got pulled. It kind of, but otherwise, it shows that quality is there. Turning Red was great, by the way. So
all right, moving along. Let's see. Kenneth Branagh got his first Oscar for original screenplay.
He's been nominated 8 times, and this is his first win, and he got it for my favorite film of last year, which was Belfast.
Yeah, and then Jane Chapman got director.
Yep, for The Power of the Dog, which was
Dog.
interesting. This is an interesting thing to talk about, is because Jane Campion was also nominated in the same year Spielberg won Schindler's List. So now the roles reversed, where they were both nominated, and this time she won over Spielberg.
What was he nominated for?
West Side Story. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So.
And of course, we got to talk about the one who had pretty much a sweep, and that was Dune.
Yeah,
Took
Dune.
out 6 different awards. Score, cinematography, visual effects, film editing, sound, and production design. And if you've watched the new Dune, it hands down deserves
Yeah.
every single one of those.
And when we were talking about predictions for the Oscars, you can go back, people, and look on the YouTube. I did say I expect Dune to be a dark horse and sweep in a lot of awards.
And they did.
Yeah.
And
the only
it
one
was
they didn't
great.
win was Best Picture, but that's fine. They got the awards that I think they were deserving of, because when you look at those categories and you, like you said, if you watch the film, it's so engrossing of the world that you can't
Now, I
even
have
tell
to-
it was fake.
And the thing is, I got to sit there and say that if the Academy if we were in 2019, right? Pre-COVID, pre-changes to the Academy's requirements for nominations, we wouldn't have seen Power of the Dog and we wouldn't have seen Coda in the running.
Unless they released it in theaters for at least a weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's a heavy
Yeah.
price tag.
Yeah.
Obviously, both Netflix, Amazon, and Apple can do that without batting an eye.
Yeah, because they did that with The Irishman, because that year the rules weren't changed yet, so they put The Irishman for a weekend in the 2 major areas. So but
I mean,
let's
there's
throw
a
that out the
chance
window.
we wouldn't
Yeah.
have seen those. So I wouldn't put it past Dune to have taken this if it
Yeah.
wasn't for the fact
Yeah.
these 2 other films, which are exclusively on streaming, had made such an impact.
Yeah, so like if I'm looking at the list and you pull those out, and the only ones that were released in theater, which would have been West Side Story, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, King Richard, Drive My Car, and Nightmare Alley, I would have gave it to Dune.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against the rest of them.
No, and I've seen all the rest of them, so me personally, like I said, like I reviewed Dune, I gave it a 4 out of 5, but the more I think about it, the more I appreciate what that movie did.
All right, well, now that we've covered the Academy and all that other stuff, and we're avoiding that one topic that we all know we're going to avoid, let's talk about some of the new changes in the gaming sphere. Getting into the entertainment, so a different fact of entertainment.
Yes. Were you talking about video gaming?
The video games.
Okay.
So big news. Sony dropped and announced that they are going to be they're merging PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now into a new subscription service, which is suspiciously like Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, it's
where you can
suspicious.
stream a number of games. Now, what Sony is doing differently is they're going with a 3-tier model.
3-tier.
There's the Essential, the Extra, and the Premium, as opposed to Game Pass, which has console or PC, or Ultimate, which is both.
Which I have Ultimate, so I have both.
I have Ultimate as well.
Yeah.
I actually got a notification from Sony saying I don't need to do anything right now. My stuff will roll over whenever they merge. I just don't know which one I'm going to end up being put into. I have a sneaky suspicion based on some of the news feeds that my subscription for PlayStation Plus is going to be packaged into the Essential bracket. And,
So I can, so basically, it's saying that the top tier, as reported in IGN, quote, will offer more than 700 games for streaming or download, including streaming on PC, and the library will be regularly refreshed. When it comes to backwards compatibility, PS3 games will be available as streaming-only titles, while PS1 and 2 and PSP will come with download or streaming options. Sony has not made it clear. That's the top tier.
Weird.
Yeah, that's the top tier.
Seems kind of weird you can do that with PS3 games, but you're doing that with PSP, PS1.
Yeah, so basically, Essential is basically what is now the current PS Plus. PS Plus Extra includes all the essential benefits and adds a catalog of around 400 PS4 and 5 games that can be downloaded. So, and then
the infographic we got up on the screen for those watching is an infographic from IGN. So thank you, IGN.
Reddit, thanks.
It is outlining the new PlayStation model versus the Xbox Game Pass and the Nintendo on the Switch Online, which is the small, kind of forgotten about streaming option,
Which
or
is
subscription
still
option.
pretty good if you have a Switch.
I have to say it's dollar for dollar. I think it's probably some really good value.
Even though I haven't picked up my Switch in a while, it's
Oh,
still
I'm
there.
also biased because I think Game Pass is the best value for the money.
Yeah, it is. Yep, I'm on that bias train.
I mean,
yeah,
and looking at the two, so Game Pass, the biggest difference between the new PlayStation Plus,
yeah,
and Game Pass is the fact that Microsoft will put first-party titles on Game Pass at launch.
yeah,
Sony said no, they're not doing that. They don't think there's any value to that, and they won't do that. However, if you listen to the press brief and you read it, it is not a firm no. It is a not at this time, which means I would pretty safely say that in a year or so they're going to follow suit and put their exclusives up there, or at least give us some kind of
incentive.
Well, I think they're going to do like what we're seeing in the theaters. Like right now, movie studios like, all right, I'm going to drop this in the theater for 45 days and then I'm going to throw it on streaming. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony's like, all right, I'm going to launch this game, and after 45 or 60 days, it's going to roll over to the stream. It's going to roll over to the service, because it's that initial grab. I mean, it's that initial grab for sales.
Yeah.
And we know that most games peak after a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, unless they're a really good title. So it may be one of a lot like the film industry. All right, movie hits the theaters. We know it's going to last for X amount of days, where it's going to do really well. After that, it's going to fall apart.
Yep. Mayflower is just saying she just plays Animal Crossing and Pokemon Shield.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad you're listening, and we're offering hopefully some entertainment to while you're multitasking. So, you know what? Follow Mayflower's example and just play us in the background, and feel free to yell at the TV and comment, or your device whenever it says something you want to just chime in. It's perfectly fine.
It works for me. But yeah, it's interesting. It's what I find funny about this is that PlayStation was so against this for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and then
like, no, there's no money in this. There's no value in this.
And they see what Microsoft's been doing for a few years, and now Nintendo's been doing, and sees maybe there is some kind of goodness in it, and it does. There is goodness of having Game Pass and having that catalog of games where you can just try, and then if you like it, you can play it for a while.
Now, how long do you think before they change the tiers? Because I'm sorry, looking at just the graphic I was able to fit up here. So we got $10 a month, $15 a month, or $18 a month.
Yeah.
Versus the $15 a month for Microsoft.
Yeah.
And then Sony has something that Microsoft doesn't, which is an annual option.
Yep.
Which again, $60. $100 or $120.
I mean, that is an offering that some people like. So, but I guess that's one negative on Microsoft's, but it doesn't take away from the Game Pass.
I don't think it takes away from it, and there's actually a fourth tier to PlayStation's thing that they're not talking about, and that is for those areas of the world that streaming is not possible because of infrastructure and technology.
Yeah.
That one is going to be a slightly cheaper option. I think it's going to be like $7.99 a month or something like that, if I remember right. But it's only going to be downloading games and downloading the games from the library. You won't be able to stream them.
Yeah, so that works. That's being helpful, but Sony is kind of tagging along, because they're like, wait a minute, theirs being successful, let's try to do ours, and they're still kind of hopscotching it a little bit. And they're still going to
offer discounts for if you played it there and didn't buy the game. I mean, I don't think Microsoft's lost any sales.
No.
In terms of games, because people will still buy the game even if they buy it at a discount. But the idea of being able to play a game for a little bit of time, to get a taste for it, to see, okay, would I really buy this game? Like, I'm curious just for the essential, because I don't do a lot of. I mean, I only play a few PlayStation games right now. I'm only playing Horizon.
I don't even have mine up because I don't even turn mine on.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm waiting for the Cowabunga collection, which is my next major PlayStation purchase.
That is one I'm coming over.
We're totally gonna throw down some Ninja Turtle action.
I'm throwing some Ninja Turtles. Is that 2-player? Better be 2-player.
It's all the arcade. It's all the games original, so I'm sure it's 2 and 4. So I only have 2 controllers.
That's all we need. There's only 2 of us. There's 2 of us.
More controllers. But so it check that out. But they're gonna put Death Stranding. They're gonna put God of War. I mean, granted, I have a copy of God of War as long as I keep my Plus. But you know, throwing up some of the other games that are really big, even though they've been out for a little while. And one of the probably the newest title that I saw on the list was they're going to put Returnal in the service. Now I've actually been very curious about playing Returnal, but I haven't felt I want to shell out the money to buy it because I don't know if I'm going to like it if I buy it.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about it, but you know, having a Game Pass, it allows you to do that, try it, and then if you want it, you can buy it.
Yeah. Which I think is great because if you ever lose the service, then you lose the games. I think that's a big difference between this and Microsoft. Whereas with Microsoft, if I bought the game through the service, or I got my 2 games a month through Gold, or 4, they're mine. I own they have gifted me the license to the game. I can play. Sony, the minute you stop that subscription, they pull all the licenses. Where it's like, you know. There's a great analogy, but it's not. And we all, those of us of a certain age, will know the analogy, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, I think we'll just leave it on the back burner.
Well, I mean,
yep.
You know, if you know, you know.
If you don't know, now you know.
But I mean, it's kind of cool. It's supposedly going to roll out in June as a part of the first rollout for Asia and North America, and then it's going to go to Europe and the rest of the world, which is kind of cool. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, but it's I mean, even though, you know, make a little stab at, you know, PlayStation or Sony taking a while, but at least they're trying and they're starting to see the see where, you know, gaming is going.
I want to see that. I'm kind of curious to how popular it's going to be, because Game Pass was not an overnight success.
Yeah, Game Pass took a while, but now it's got such a foothold. You know that people.
It also cross-generation platforms.
Yeah.
It was announced during the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And now we're here in the series stuff, and it is a powerhouse.
PC. It's on PC. So
and then the fact the xCloud and the cross-platform.
I can tell you, I've been playing games through the cloud. That is amazing.
That's because they actually have consoles in the servers in the data centers you're playing off of. You're not playing off an emulator. You're not playing off your own console on your own network. They have put Xbox Series X consoles in the data center, and that's what you're playing off of.
Yeah, because I tried it because I was just like, I don't feel like downloading and hogging up my space. Let me just play it off the cloud. And I played a few games on the cloud, and it's been amazing. So, but right now it's been mostly Elden Ring, so I haven't touched them in a while.
I heard Elden Ring is definitely going strong. I'm curious, and if that ends up on Game Pass, I will definitely give it a shot.
I love that game. That's all I can say.
I was listening to because the PlayStation crew on my morning news feed has been talking about it, and it was a great story this morning where a guy was like, you know, kind of wandering, and this shows you how well this game is crafted, right? He thought he saw a dragon corpse.
Okay, I understand. Thought I saw something.
He sees this corpse. He thinks it's part of the background, and you know, it's a dark, that kind of game. You know, that kind of great imagery of the landscape. He thought it moved at some point. Now the question is, did he see it move? Or did he think he saw it move because the game has you on so on edge?
You're so on edge in that game. I was about to cuss. You're so on edge in that game that, you know, you think you see something and not. But I came across that dragon with the lightning sword. Yeah.
I'm not even playing the game. I'm like, nope.
When I saw him bring up that sword, you saw how fast I ran. You would have been like, yep, I'm coming right behind you. But it's a sequence for something, because you don't completely beat him at that moment, so I'm guessing the dragon you meet again at some point in the game. So,
Hey, dragons always make games fun.
yep.
Good, bad, or indifferent, dragons make games
Yeah,
interesting.
there is a dragon on a bridge that I think I might check out, see if maybe I can take him out.
Alrighty. Okay, so let's see. All right, so after that, let's talk about some back into some more entertainment, and that is here, go there.
Entertaining streaming.
Yeah. So, we had the baseball lockout, right? They apparently have settled their differences, and now we're gonna have baseball season.
Yep,
But
opens up
apparently
April
they
7th.
signed a contract with Apple
Yep.
to where now all Friday night baseball games will be streamed on Apple TV. I might actually watch me some baseball this year.
Yep. So if you have Apple TV Plus, you'll be able to watch baseball. So based on an article from MLB.com, Apple TV is your home for a doubleheader of MLB action every Friday night this season. And on Tuesday, the first half schedule of games was announced.
And then you have this other thing, Thursday Night Football is coming to Amazon Prime.
Yep. So Thursday Night Football has been a partnership between the NFL Network, and certain broadcast areas, Fox,
Most notably
CBS.
ESPN.
So ESPN doesn't air any football, but what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it was it was on those networks, but at the same time, it was also streaming on Amazon Prime too. So it was going hand in hand. So this upcoming season, Amazon got the exclusive rights to run Thursday Night Football exclusively on Prime
That's
Video.
gonna suck for bowling night.
So, and then what they also did was get in two big names to be the hosts, which is Al Michaels. If you know, he's been a very prime announcer on NBC's Sunday Night Football.
Okay.
And Kirk Herbstreit is an ESPN college football analyst, so they're bringing him over to talk about the games as a color commentator.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm just gonna suck. So one of the things I liked about Thursday Night Bowling is when they would run the football games.
yeah, but what this actually
The only time I watched football, to be honest, I mean, let's be real. The only time I watched football the last 2 seasons was.
Yeah, it's okay, but the big thing is not the fact that these two got a hold of sports. Is the fact that streaming is starting to open up their platforms to more than just shows and movies.
That works.
They're starting to navigate how are we going to grow our brand. And one way is putting sports on there and putting live sports on there, and not to mention if you have Paramount Plus or Peacock, you can stream sports on there because they stream live TV via Paramount Plus CBS with CBS Sports, and NBC with our Peacock with NBC Sports. So you could have streamed exclusively all the Olympic Games on Peacock. With CBS, currently you have March Madness going on, so you can watch March Madness on Paramount Plus. So it's showing how these streaming services are finding other ways to expand their hold on watching, not only just whatever they throw up there, but through live events. So
Don't mind me. Just
no, you're fine. So that's the big thing about these. But the fact is, I got Apple TV, and then all of a sudden I see that I'm going to be able to watch some baseball.
I would get notifications when when the Seahawks would play, and I never actually turned it on. But I mean, I might do that more. I normally don't follow a lot of sports, but it's kind of a thing. So yeah, we got all that.
There was one that you mentioned right before the show. Sad news with movies.
Oh yeah, sad movie news. Bruce Willis is retiring from acting.
Yep.
Due to a recent diagnosis, I can't even pronounce.
I will throw myself in the pen and try to say it. Aphasia.
Aphasia, which is essentially it's a brain condition where you can no longer speak in complete sentences.
Yeah. So I'm just going to look up the definition. It says a loss of ability to understand or express speech caused by brain damage. So.
Yeah, it's stroke, injuries to the head, very rare cases of muscular neurological deterioration.
So it's a very a sensory oriented disease, but it's just kind of sad because Bruce Willis, for
Actually, it was kind of, there's that sad, but the other thing is the fact that he has been in the business for 50 years.
Yeah, that was the one big thing when reading this article from Screen Rant, is the fact that I didn't realize how long he's been in the movie business. I know all the movies I've seen him. He's known for a lot of them, iconically, of course, a Die Hard, but there's some like Last Boy Scout, Fifth Element, Pulp Fiction, The Sixth Sense, just to name a few.
Well, I loved him in Hudson Hawk.
Oh yeah, they did, you know, that is
It's one of the ones where it bombed, but there was that, plus he's had the cartoon stuff, Bruno,
he will be
he's one of the founders for the Hollywood restaurant.
Yeah. So he's done a lot, and also, you know, he's done a lot of great movies, he's done a lot of straight to direct movies.
Thank you, Kit.
They literally had a whole award at the Razzies just for Bruce Willis. If I can look up Razzies.
Fifth Element was pretty
Bruce
good.
Willis
I really enjoyed Fifth Element.
Fifth Element was like one of those.
It was like cult film. Comes back and you're just like, even if you haven't seen it for years, there's certain elements that just, you know, so iconic.
Yep. So the Razzies called the award the worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie. So he did like 10 straight to DVD movies.
He has a lot of those. He has a lot of those straight.
The Razzies, even though it's what you call, you know, the worst of the worst rewards, it's the recognition of cinema about it, and the fact that he gets his own award category. It just shows the strength of his own caricature.
Well, I mean, it's the strength of the fact he's dedicated to the craft, regardless of how people perceived it. He thought it was enjoyable enough to take on the role. Granted, you know, comment otherwise, thinking that maybe he did it just for a paycheck or whatnot. Don't care. But he has a wide variety of roles. He's a musician. He's an actor.
Yep. And just to throw a couple in there that just popped in my head is Armageddon and Red. So
Red was kind of his, you know, coming back into it because he had kind of gone had been a lot coming out. Then, you know, Red and was really good. I really enjoyed him. G.I. Joe, the second G.I. Joe film.
His cameo in a way was great. Whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I like that.
Classic comedy.
See, now all the movies are starting to come back to me.
You remember Death Becomes Her?
Been a minute.
That was one of those. I think it had Goldie Hawn, Meryl Streep, and Bruce Willis, and it was just nutso kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's had
a lot of movies.
Multi pass.
Yep. So it's just
Maya Jovovich.
All right.
But yeah, so sad news on that, and we also have a couple of odds. We have some odds and ends.
The rapid fire. So which one you want to start with first?
You know what? I'm sorry. This Pepsi and IHOP, a match made in sugar. What in the are you talking about, dude?
Okay, so this is it was reported in foodandwine.com. So IHOP, everybody likes going to IHOP late at night sometimes.
Well, I mean,
people like to take a sip of Pepsi. There are people that are Pepsi fans. Why not?
Yeah. They'll be knocking the Pepsi product.
I'm not. I wasn't knocking. I was just saying people like to sip the Pepsi. But what happens when you pair IHOP with Pepsi? What do they create? Well,
don't they normally serve Pepsi products for their drinks?
But they have announced a partnership where they are going to make their exclusive drink. It is called Pepsi Maple Syrup Cola.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
No.
The thing is that this won't be available in stores or at any IHOP location. It's going to be, quote, instead, and what has become a common promotional method, highly limited edition soda will only be available through a social media giveaway. So you're going to have to do a social media giveaway to do a hashtag Pepsi sweepstakes to get the exclusive Pepsi maple syrup.
Yeah, that doesn't even remotely sound good.
Yeah. Oh, on the contrary, they say that it's an indulgent flavor profile of maple syrup with the crisp, refreshing caramel notes of a Pepsi. But I'm with you. That is like diabetes times 1,000.
You know what? It's not even worth the joke. It's not even worth the diabetes joke. It's just it does
it
not sound like it tastes good.
it speaks for itself.
I mean, and the worst part is it's not the craziest food product we've heard, because there was the Arby's vodka that tasted like French fries.
Yep, I remember we talked about that. There's a few other ones that we've talked about that have been kind of crazy.
I think KFC still has the award for the most off the wall concepts.
Yeah, I know they had the Double Down. I know Krispy Kreme had the donut burger. There is Jolly Rancher cereal out there, people. I've seen it. So this might be crazy, but they're still crazy out there.
No. All right. So this next one we got, we went from sugar to missiles.
Yes.
Missiles and tanks from school to museum.
So yes, this is an article from the AP, where there's an Alabama school that will be donating missiles, a Lance missile, and a tank to a veterans museum. So, quote, an MGM-52 Lance missile, once capable of delivering nuclear conventional weapons before it was deactivated, and an M75-2 launcher have sat outside the old Athens High School for decades. And now they're going to be donating it to the
schools. Donated to the school's ROTC program. Well, they were donated to the ROTC program in the 70s.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be donated to a veterans center.
Yep. So they're going to donate it to a veteran museum that will house it instead of the school.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool, but I gotta say that's probably got to be one of the weirdest things. You'd go to school every day and seeing a missile and a tank in the front of the school.
Yeah, but you know, we're talking about Alabama. There's a lot of things that happen in the South that I don't want to talk about.
Hey,
crazy.
Hey, you know what? It works, but it's still going to a good spot, because I think remembering
cheers
history is
to
important.
them. Yeah, that's the one thing I appreciate going to museums, and the fact that they are donating something that will keep history intact is appreciated to me, because you know, history, good or bad, it's always good to see what can be preserved and where we came from in a way.
And then we got this other one where looks like in Marquette we're gonna have some traffic closures.
Yeah. So
Marquette, Michigan?
Yes.
Marquette, Michigan. Keep in mind that they're going to close some of the roads to allow migrating salamanders to cross the road without fear of them being run over, which is an interesting conversation thing.
Yep.
But for blue spotted salamanders.
Yep. So this is also reported in the AP. The city of Marquette is closing a portion of Peter White Drive in the Presque Isle Park from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. daily until April 15th.
Or until the migration has completed, in case they're running a little late.
So they're making sure that these salamanders are protected, because, you know, mating and migrating is important.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Humans like to mate too.
Well, that and so many animal species are disrupted because of urbanization and expansion, because as humans we just can't live in a place. We have to terraform it and make it comfortable for us. Be damned, all the other animals and creatures
it's like
around.
Screw the woods. But you know, as reported in this article in 2018, quote, former North Michigan University student Eli Barrett noticed vehicles were killing hundreds of migrating salamanders who were traveling the park interior.
And this is a nice bit of civil activism. They got this. They were able to make a good case for the city and get the city to do this. So I think that's really cool, and that should be what you want to do if you want to make change.
And it seems to work, because they did this back in 2020, and as a result, only 3 confirmed mortalities that year. So it's working.
That's a pretty good drop. Alrighty, well, on that note, protect the salamanders, protect
the salamanders. Drink that soda. Pepsi sweepstakes, people. Syrup.
So close. Syrup. So close. And then he does this. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Yes. Remember, if you liked it, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification.
Ding, ding, ding.
Again, shout out for Sirenscape for the background music and soundboards that we're using when we're not talking. Go check them out at Sirenscape.com. They have a whole plethora of sound sets to make your gaming and tabletop experience more enjoyable. And if you want to do more to support the studio, you're more than welcome to do that. You can do that by heading over to patreon.com/Scuba Studio and consider being a patron. One of the benefits of being a patron is you get to access the live show after show. The live after show. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we'll do it. We'll chat some more over there. It's exclusive to Patreon members. Check it out. Stay safe, love each other, do all those things, and we will see you all next Wednesday. Bye, everybody.
Peace.